Well, the Congress's Shashi Tharoor has been campaigning in Noida in the national capital region. He spoke to NDTV on the UP elections, the BJP's bigotry, the Prime Minister's accusations and the hijab controversy.
Congress leader Mr. Shashi Tharoor is today here in Noida campaigning for the Congress candidate Ms. Pankhudi Pathak. We will speak to Mr. Tharoor for more. Sir, my first question to you is you're a very interesting choice for the Congress to campaign here in the heat and dust of UP because, we usually see you in Kerala. So how did this end up happening?
No, I've just been campaigning in Goa over the weekend, and Noida for us is a very interesting constituency. It's right next to Delhi. It's an urban location in a state that is not predominantly urban in the same way. And it has a lot of problems that have been neglected by successive representatives.
He's facing a heavy weight candidate from here, Mr. Pankaj Singh, the ruling MLA, won last time with a margin of over 1 lakh votes. Mr. Pankaj Singh happens to be the son of Mr. Rajnath Singh, a union minister. So all of those factors, do you think that Ms. Pathak's factors will work strong enough to defeat him?
Yes, I think one of the big differences is that Pankhudi is actually a local. I'm afraid that the MLA of Noida doesn't live in Noida. And apparently he doesn't have very much awareness of the daily problems.
What is your take on BJP's election campaigning strategies so far, the kind of speeches that have been made by Mr. Yogi Adityanath? And yesterday, of course, in the PM, there's another connected issue where the Prime Minister accused the Congress instead of polarizing politics. So how do you look at all of these things?
No, I think it's a very sad and dangerous development in our politics, that bigotry, prejudice and the division of our people on communal lines has become the hallmark of the ruling party's public posturing.
So you are in UP right now where migrant labourers faced a lot of hardships throughout the pandemic. Yesterday the Prime Minister blamed the Congress for giving free tickets to migrant labourers, making them go away from the cities and travel in the midst of a pandemic. How do you react to those accusations?
I actually reacted yesterday itself in Parliament. In my speech on the budget, I said, what did the government provide for these people so that they could be looked after where they were? They had no choice but to go home because the BJP had announced a lockdown with no warning, no preparation, no notice to employers or to the workers. And the poor workers were completely stuck. They had no way out except to go back home because home at least they could survive. To be in a city without a job, without income, without food and without shelter, how do they manage? They had to go. It is exactly the charge we have been levying against the Prime Minister and his government for the last 2 years. And for him to turn it around is a very cynical exercise.
So that is Congress leader Mr. Shashi Tharoor saying that Ms. Pankhudi Pathak is a resident of Noida and that is what is going to work in her favour. In Noida with camera person Sudesh Kumar Ram, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.